My name is Ryan Yin from Redlands High School. I will be presenting the following dramatic interpretation for the 2020 Seattle Academy Invitational.
When I was 5 years old, my parents brought home my baby brother Joe. He was perfect in every way imaginable. He was tiny and covered in old man wrinkles, and even his crying was magic to me. It was then that I knew that I wanted to be a dad, and so I threw myself into helping with baby Joe. I would help change diapers, and I almost single-handedly potty trained him, all by myself.
My path toward fatherhood began there and led me to where I am today. Because I knew that no matter what else happened in my life, I was going to have kids. I was going to be the best father I could be for them. For most, parenthood is a terrifying leap into a pit of diapers and regret. But for Stephen, it wasn't a question of if, but a question of when. However, when he finally gets everything that he wanted, it comes at a terrible cost. Stephen teaches us that even our most hopeful dreams and thought-out plans aren't always meant to be, but what defines us is how we change, adapt, and grow with these challenges. This is Fatherhood by Stephen Mizell. My sophomore year in college, I met Anna. She was brilliantly intelligent and stunningly good looking, which made me wonder why she would even take a second look at someone like me. I was sitting alone in the cafeteria one day when she just plopped down on the other side of the table. "Do you have any extra mayonnaise?" she asked, or do we control my extra packets? And that is how I met my future wife. That fateful lunch turned to a relationship worthy of all the poems and epics that had ever been up to paper. And when she asked me why I hadn't picked a definitive major, I explained to her, I'm just here to meet my wife so that we can have kids and I can stay at home with them. So I'll be the one wearing the pants, bringing home the bacon. We sat at the table for a bit as we digested this. No extra mayo needed. And then she took my hand and kissed it on the middle knuckle. I'll never forget that light brushing of her lips, confirming our future. We married 3 months later, and it was finally time to expand our family. 7 excruciating months after we began first trying, Anna was late. After a week went by, we decided to crack open a pregnancy test. And seconds felt like years as we waited for that cross to appear, and then, slowly, a red plus faded into existence. We were going to have a baby. Now, Anna was the picture of a perfect pregnancy. I mean, sure, there was the morning sickness, but she was too excited about the life growing inside of her to let it cause her too much distress. We decided to plan Anna's baby shower, and we thought a month before the due date would be safe. So we started sending invites, planning activities, and picking out the food options, but Anna's body had different plans. I was still sleeping hard because she ended up hitting me to wake me up. And I looked at her in the dark with the tears shining on her face. She was in labor. This was wrong. Everything about this was wrong, and she knew it. There was no counting contractions or taking breaks in between. There was just pain and fear and hopelessness. So I jumped out of bed and all but carried my premature wife, pale-faced to the car, and drove her to the hospital. After minutes, maybe hours, probably, they called me in for her to push. It was truly a terrifying sight. Anna, covered in blood and in so much pain, I went over next to her. She gave me a look. Just a look. She didn't say a single word, but I knew she was telling me that it's going to be okay. And the nurse asked me to get some ice. I'll be right back, honey. When I got back, there was a commotion. People were running around panicked. I didn't know what was going on. My wife is in there. What's happening? Please let me in. I just need to see her. Please. I don't remember what happened after. Next thing I knew, I was in the waiting room. We lost your wife, the doctor told me. As if Anna was a piece of jewelry. They lost her? The rest of the words became white noise to me, with words cutting through here and there like bad radio connection. Words like hemorrhage and uncontrollable. And then came words that cut through the static entirely. The baby survived. The baby? After hearing that they had misplaced my wife, I completely forgot about the baby. She's stable, but she'll need to stay in the NICU for a while. And then he just left me there. A while turned out to be 4 weeks, and I brought Elizabeth to an empty home. I set her down in her crib and just stared at her for a long time. I felt nothing like what I experienced with my baby brother. Oh God, what have I done? I can't do this on my own. I can't. No, I just need to remember her eyes. It's going to be okay. Elizabeth would cry constantly, and even when she slept, I would lie awake in our too big bed knowing that the emptiness inside me would never be filled. Elizabeth was the reason Anna was gone. Obviously, it wasn't her fault that Anna had died, but had we not tried to have a kid, Anna would still be here today, and those are the facts. So over the course of the next 3 days, I began to reach the end of my rope. Anna would scream, and I would scream insults and unfair accusations right back. I could no longer take it. I could not remember the last time I had slept for longer than 30 minutes at a time. I simply needed sleep. With sleep under my belt, I would finally be able to be the father I always dreamed of being. And so I thought it over and decided she would be fine for one night on her own. She wouldn't starve, and it's good to let a baby cry it out, right? If I had some sleep, I would be more forgiving of the flaws that she had no control over, and so I fed her, I changed and swaddled her, and then I packed a small bag and left her. I'll be right back, honey. It's going to be okay. It was a month later when the cops began pounding on my motel door. I slowly walked over to the door and opened it. I didn't protest as they dragged me toward their cruiser. I can only imagine that these were the same cops who had gone to my house looking for me. The same cops who had found Elizabeth. I didn't fight, I didn't plead my innocence. After all, I was guilty. Guilty thinking that I was meant to be a father. Anna, Elizabeth, I am so sorry for lying to you.